Good day, everyone. Today, we'll talk about the Title 4 Prevention of Juvenile Delinquency, Chapter 1 Role of the Different Sector. We'll start by the Section 20 Children Below the Age of Criminal Responsibility. It has been determined that the child taken into custody is 15 years old below. The authority which will in an initial contact with the child in consultation with the local social welfare and development officer has the duty to immediately release the child to the custody of his or her parents or guardian, or in the absence thereof, the child's nearest relative. The child shall be subject to a community-based intervention program supervised by the local social welfare and development officer unless the best interest of the child requires the referral of the child to a youth care facility or Bahay Pag-asa, managed by the LGUs or licensed and or accredited non-government monitored by the DSWD. So, child conflicted with the law, age 15 and below ay hindi subjected sa criminal prosecution at kailangang i-release sa kanilang parents or guardian. The authorities must consult first the local social welfare and development officer bago i-release yung bata. So kahit na hindi siya subjected sa criminal prosecution, the child conflicted with the law, including those 15 age below, ay kailangan mag-undergo ng community-based intervention programs. Unless kung kailangan i-refer yung bata sa youth care facility or Bahay Pag-asa. Bahay Pag-asa is a 24 hours youth care institution na minamanage at funded by the LGUs or licensed and accredited NGO na monitored ng DSWD. The local social welfare and development officer will determine kung ano yung appropriate intervention programs para sa bata. So in this case, kailangan mo nang sabihan yung bata o yung tao may hawak ng custody ng bata about sa bibigay na intervention program. Kapag yung parents, guardians, or malapit na kamag-anak ng bata ay wala or hindi mahanapan o kaya ayaw kunin yung custody ng bata, pwede yung bata ay marilis sa mga registered na non-governmental or religious organization, barangay official or a member of the barangay council para sa protection ng bata or the BCPC. And syempre last, pwede siyang i-release sa local social welfare and development officer or when and where appropriate the DSWD. Pag yung bata ay dependent, abandoned, neglected, or inaabuso ng parents, ang tanging nakakabuti sa bata is na marireplace siya in a youth care facility o Bahay Pag-asa. In this case, kailangan magbigay ang mga parents ng written authorization para sa voluntary commitment ng kanilang anak. Itong written authorization na ito, dinedemonstrate nito yung consent ng parents at pinapasa ang kanilang parental authority sa DSWD or sa youth care facility kung saan mapupunta yung bata. At kapag yung parents ng bata ay hindi nagbigay ng authorization, yung local social welfare development officer at DSWD ay magpa-file ng petition sa korte for an involuntary commitment pursuant to Presidential Decree No. 603, also known as the Child and Youth Welfare Code. And the child must be 12 years old to place under youth care facility. Next, Section 20A. Serious crime committed by children who are exempt from criminal responsibility. A child who is above 12 years old up to 15 years of age commits parricide, murder, infanticide, kidnapping, and serious illegal detention where the victim is killed or raped, robbery with homicide or rape, destructive arson, rape or carnapping or occupant is killed or raped, or offenses under our Republic Act No. 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, punishable by 12 years of imprisonment, shall be deemed a neglected child under Presidential Decree No. 603 as amended and shall be mandatory placed in a special facility within the youth care facility or Bahay Pag-asa called the Intensive Juvenile Intervention and Support Center or the IJISC. So the CICL must be above 12 years old up to 15 years of age. So, nag-commit siya ng certain heinous crimes or serious crimes such as parricide, infanticide, kidnapping, and serious homicide or rape, destructive arson, etc. Or kaya naman under the Republic Act No. 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. So, sinasabing sila ay considered na neglected child as amended by Presidential Number 603 at kailangang ma-replace sila in a special facility which is called the Intensive Juvenile Intervention Support Center. So, ang Local Social Welfare Development Officer ay magpa-file ng petition for involuntary commitment and placement of the child under the Intensive Juvenile Intervention Support Center. In 24 hours from the time kung kailan na-receive yung report about sa pag-commit ng crime ng bata, the court will decide about the filed involuntary commitment of the child within 72 hours. Dapat hindi lalagpas ng less than 1 year yung initial period of placement ng bata sa Intensive Juvenile Intervention Support Center or the IJISC. Si multidisciplinary team ng IJISC ay magsasubmit ng report. It is a case of study progress report. Ang nilalaman ng case study progress report nito is all about the child's development and progress. Kung ano yung current status, kung ano yung pagbabago, and also mga recommendation for future support. After that, the court will decide kung yung bata ay successful niyang nakompleto yung nabigay na center-based intervention program sa kanya at ihahanda niya para makabalik na siya sa kanyang mga magulang. Kapag yung bata ay kailangan ipagpatuloy pa rin niya yung intervention program na binigay sa kanya, ang korte ang mag-decide kung ano yung next na assessment or hearing ng bata. Next is Section 20-B, Repetition of Offenses. A child who is above 12 up to 15 years old and who commits an offense for the second time or oftener. So, yung bata is above 12 up to 15 years old and nag-commit na naman siya ulit ng offense, which is the second time. Second time na siyang nag-commit ng offense. The child was previously subjected to a community-based intervention program shall be deemed neglected child under PD number 603. The best interest of the child requires that he or she be placed under youth care facility or bahay pag-asa. The child parent shall execute a written authorization for the voluntary commitment of the child. If the child has no parents or guardian, or if they refuse or fail to execute a for petition voluntary commitment, the proper petition for involuntary commitment shall be filed by the DSWD or the Local Social Welfare Development Officer pursuant to PD number 603 as amended.
Good day, everyone. My topic for today is all about Section 20, letter C, exploitation of children for commission of crimes. Any person who in the commission of crime makes use, takes advantage of, or profits from the use of the children, including any person who abuses his or her authority over the child or who, with abuse of confidence, take advantage of the vulnerabilities of the child and shall induce, threaten, or instigate the commission of the crime, shall be imposed the penalty prescribed by the law for the crime committed in its maximum period. So, yung pinagbabawal dito na section is yung paggamit ng bata sa paggawa ng krimen. For example, ako, inutusan ko yung isang bata na 15 years old na magnakaw. So, makakasuhan ako ng theft in the maximum period or yung penalty ko is nasa maximum yung pinakamataas na niya. Then next, Section 20, letter D, joint parallel responsibility. Based on the recommendation of the multidisciplinary team of Intensive Juvenile Intervention and Support Center, the local Social Welfare and Development Office, the court may require the parents of a child in conflict with the law to undergo counseling or any other interventions that in the opinion of the court would advance the best interest of the child. So dito naman is yung mga parents ng child in conflict with the law ay kailangang mag-undergo ng counseling and other intervention para mas ma-emphasize or mas mailabas nila yung best interest ng child or yung anak nila. As issued in this act, parents shall mean any of the following. So dito yung sinasabing parents, they are either biological parents, yung parents mismo ng bata, yung pinanggalingan niya, adoptive parents of the child kapag adoptive naman yung child, individuals who have custody of the child, or for example namatay yung both parents and meron yung lola or lolo, so nasa kanila yung custody ng child, sila yung mag-undergo ng counseling or any other intervention. The law may require the attendance of one or both parents of the child at the place where the proceedings are to be conducted. So, a child in conflict with the law is, diba, may proceeding na sila. So, nire-required ng batas na dapat may isa or mas magandang dalawang parents ang mag-a-attend sa proceeding na yon. The parents shall be liable to damages unless they prove that they were exercising reasonable supervision of the child at the time the child committed the offense and exert reasonable effort to discourage the child from committing another offense. Sinasabi ng batas na may pananagutan ang mga magulang sa pag-aaruga at paggabay sa kanilang mga anak at maaaring panagutin sila kung may mangyaring masama dahil sa kapabayaan nila or negligence ng parents. Next, Section 20, letter E, assistance to victims of offenses committed by children. The victim of the offense committed by a child and the victim's family shall be provided the appropriate assistance and psychological intervention by the LSWDO or the Local Service Welfare Development Office or the Department of Social Welfare and Development and other concerned agencies. So dito naman sa Section 20, letter E, mabibigyan ng appropriate assistance and psychological intervention yung victim at the same time yung family ng victim. Mabibigyan sila ng assistance and psychological intervention na ibibigay ng LSWDO and DSWD para mas mapagaan yung kalooban nila na bakit nangyari to sa akin, parang ganun sa victim, and sa parents naman para mas magaan na bakit sa kanya, bakit sa anak ko pa nangyari yung ganto. So dapat mabibigyan or bigyan pansin ng LSWDO or magbigyan talaga nila ng assistant yung mga victim and the same time yung family niya. Yun lamang po, maraming salamat.
Chapter 1, Initial Contact with the Child. Sec. 21, Procedure for taking the child into custody. From the moment a child is taken into custody, the law enforcement officer shall explain to the child in simple language and in a dialect that he or she can understand why he or she is being placed under custody and the offense that he or she allegedly committed. Dapat may paliwanag sa bata ng simpleng lengguwahe o pagsasabi para maunawahan ang kanyang masamang nagawa. Inform the child of the reason for such custody and advise the child of his or her constitutional rights in a language or dialect understood by him or her. Katulad ng sinabi ko sa unang Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina na dapat may paliwanag sa bata ng simpleng lengguwahe o pagsasabihan para maunawahan ang kanyang masamang nagawa at para malaman din ng bata ang kanyang constitutional rights.
Properly identify himself or herself and present proper identification to the child. Magpakilala ng maayos. Dapat magpakilala ng maayos ang pulis at magpakita ng ID sa bata. Refrain from using vulgar or profane words and from sexually harassing or abusing or making sexual advances on the child in conflict with the law. Magalang na salita at asal, huwag gagamit ng masakit na salita, mananakit o gagawa ng anumang sexual na panliligalig sa bata. Avoid displaying or using any firearm, weapon, handcuff, or other instrument of force or restraint unless absolutely necessary and only after all other methods of control have been exhausted and have failed. Limitadong paggamit ng persa. Huwag magpakita o gagamit ng baril, armas, posas, o anumang bagay na pwedeng manakit maliban na lang kung talagang kailangan na gawin lang ito kung hindi na gumana ang ibang paraan. Refrain from subject the child in conflict with the law to greater restraint than is necessary for her apprehension, avoid violence, or necessary force. Tamang pagpipigil. Huwag gagamit ng labis na persa sa pagpipigil sa bata. Avoid violence or unnecessary force. Iwasan ang karahasan. Iwasan ang kaharasan o hindi kinakailangang pananakit.
Determine the age of the pursuant to Section 7 of this Act, immediately but not later than 8 hours after apprehension. Turn over custody of the child to the Social Welfare and Development Office or other accredited NGOs and notify the child apprehensions. The Social Welfare and Development Officer shall explain to the child and the child's parent or guardians the consequences of the child's act with a view towards counseling and rehabilitation, diversion from the criminal justice system, and reparation if appropriate. Dapat daw matukoy agad ang edad ng bata ayon sa Section 7 ng batas. Sa loob ng 8 oras mula sa pagkakaaresto at ililipat ang pangangalaga sa bata sa Social Welfare and Development Office o isang kinikilalang NGO. At dapat ipaliwanag ng Development Officer sa bata at sa magulang o guardian ng bata ang mga kahihinatnan ng mga ginagawa ng bata. If appropriate, take the child immediately to the proper medical and health officer for a thorough physical and mental examination. The examination results shall be confidential unless otherwise ordered by the family court. Whenever the medical treatment is required, steps shall be immediately undertaken to provide the same. Ito naman ay isinasa ilalim ang bata sa agarang physical at mental para masuri ng mga medical at health officer at mananatiling kumpidensyal ang mga resulta ng pagsusuri maliban kung mag-uutos ang hukuman ng pamilya at magbibigay agad ang anumang mga gamot para sa bata. Go.
Ensure that detention of the child in conflict with the law be necessary. The child shall be secured in quarters separate from that of the opposite sex and adult offenders. Narito ang mga dapat tandaan sa paghawak ng kaso ng batang may problema sa batas. Hiwalay na whether handcuffs or other instruments of restraint were used and if so, the reason for such. hiwalay na pagkulong. Kung kailangang ikulong ang bata, dapat hiwalay siya sa mga matatanda at sa kabaliktaran niyang kasarian. That the parents or guardian of a child, the DSWD and the PAW have been informed of the apprehension and the details thereof, and record sa unang investigasyon, dapat nakasulat sa unang ulat ang mga sumusunod. Kung gumamit ng posas o iba pang panali at kung bakit. That the parents or guardian of the child, nakapangalan na ang mga magulang, tagapag-alaga, DSWD at PAW tungkol sa pagkakaaresto at mga detalye. The exhaustion of measures to determine the age of a child and the precise details of the physical and medical examination or the failure to submit a child to such examination, and nakarecord ang mga hakbang na ginawa para malaman ang edad ng bata at resulta ng medical check-up o kung hindi nagpa-check-up. Ensure that all statements signed by the child during investigation shall be witnessed by the child, parents, or guardian, social worker, or legal counsel in attendance who shall affix his or her signature to the said statement. Sinaksihang pahayag. Ang unang sulat na pinirmahan ng bata ay dapat may saksi na magulang, tagapag-alaga, social worker o abogado na pipirma rin. A child in conflict with the law shall be only be researched by a law enforcement officer by the same gender and shall not be locked up in a detention cell. Paghahanap at pagkukulong. Ang batang may problema sa batas ay pwedeng hanapan lang ng pulis na kapareho ng kasarian at higpit at hindi pwedeng ikulong sa selda. Section 22. Duties during initial investigation. The law enforcement officer shall, in his her investigation, determine where the case involving the child in conflict with the law should be referred. Ang pulis ay dapat magpasya kung saan dapat dalhin ang kaso ng batang may problema sa batas. The taking of the statement of the child shall be conducted in the presence of the following. Kapag kukunin ang salaysay ng bata, dapat nandun ang number 1, child counsel of choice or in the absence thereof a lawyer from the public attorney's officer. Abogado na pinili ng bata o kung wala abogado mula sa public attorney's office. Number 2, the child's parents, guardian, or nearest relative, as the case may be, and magulang, tagapag-alaga o kamag-anak ng bata. At 3, the social welfare and development officer. In the absence of the child's parents, guardians, or nearest relative and the local social welfare and development officer, the investigation shall be conducted in the presence of a representative of an NGO, religious group, or member of BPC. Social worker, kung wala ang magulang, tagapag-alaga, kamag-anak at social worker, dapat kinatawan mula sa NGO, simbahan o BPC.
The social worker shall conduct an initial assessment to determine the appropriate intervention and whether the child acted with discernment. Using this assessment tools developed by the DSWD, the initial assessment shall be without prejudice to the preparation of a more comprehensive case study report. Ito naman daw ay dapat magsagawa ang mga social worker ng paunang pagtatasa upang matukoy ang angkop na mga intervention at kung ang bata ay kumikilos ng may pag-unawa. Gamit ang mga kasangkapan sa pagtatasa ng pag-unawa ng binuo ng DSWD. Ang paunang pagtatasa ay dapat na walang pagkiling sa paghahanda ng isang mas komprehensibong ulat ng pag-aaral sa kaso. Proceed in accordance with Section 20. If the child is 15 years
Chapter 2 Diversion Section 23 System of Diversion Children in conflict with the law shall undergo diversion programs without undergoing court proceedings subject to the conditions herein provided. A. Where the impossible penalty for the crime committed is not more than 6 years imprisonment, the law enforcement officer or punong barangay with the assistance of the local social welfare and development officer or other member of LCPC shall conduct mediation, family conferencing, and conciliation, and where appropriate adopt indigenous modes of conflict resolutions in accordance with the best interest of child with a view to accomplishing the objectives of restorative justice and the formation of diversion program. The child and her family shall be present in these activities. Letter B. In victimless crimes with impossible penalty is not more than 6 years imprisonment, the local social welfare and development officer shall meet with the child and her parents or guardians for the development of the appropriate diversion and rehabilitation program in coordination with the BCPC. Letter C. Where impossible penalty for the crime committed exceeds 6 years imprisonment, diversions measures may be restored to only the court. Ito yung ang isang sistema ng division na isang organisadong pamamaraan ng pag-uuri o paghihiwalay ng mga elemento sa mga bahagi o grupo. Maaari itong mailipat sa iba't ibang mga konteksto tulad ng mga paghahati ng mga numero sa matematika, pag-ekstruktura ng lipunan sa mga klase o case, pamahagi ng mga kapangyarihan sa mga sangay ng mga gobyerno o pag-aayos ng lipunan sa mga rehiyon ng administratibo. Section 24 Stage where diversion may be conducted. Diversion may be conducted at the katarungang pang-barangay, the police investigation or inquest or preliminary investigation stage, and at all level and phases of the proceedings including judicial level. Ito yung sa ilalim ng Philippine Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, Republic 9344. Ang pag-iba ay isang proseso na nagpapahintulot sa isang bata o nasalungat sa batas ng haharapin sa labas o ng formal ng sistema ng hustisya upang maiwasan ng mga paglilitis sa korte. Maaari itong isagawa sa panahon na paunang pagsisiyasat o kahit sa bago isampaang isang formal na reklamo. Ang pagkakaiba-iba ay maaaring mangyayari sa iba't ibang yugto. Sa antas ng barangay, kapag ang pagkakasala ay unang naisulat sa antas ng pulisya pagkatapos ng pag-aalala, sa antas ng pag-uusing bago ang pag-file ng korte, at sa antas ng korte bago ang paghatol. Section 25 Conferencing, Mediation, and Conciliation. A child in conflict with the law undergo conferencing, mediation, or conciliation outside the criminal justice system or prior to his entry to said system. A contract of diversion may be entered into during such conferencing, mediation, or conciliation proceedings. Ito ang pagsasaayos, pamamagitan at pagkakasundo ay isang mga diskarte sa panunumbalik ng hustisya na ginagamit sa pag-iiba sa ilalim ng Republic 9344. Ang mga pamamarang ito ay sasangkot sa bata, biktima at iba pang mga stakeholders sa paglutas ng salungatan ng hindi dumaan sa formal na paglilitis sa korte. Pinagsama-sama ang conferencing lahat ng mga partido upang talakayin ang pagkakasala at ayon sa kung paano gumawa ng mga pagbabago. Ang meditation ay nagsasangkot ng isang natural na ikatlong partido na pagpapadali ng isang kasunduan at sa isang habang ang pagkakasundo ay nagbibigay ng daan isang ikatlong partido na aktibong nagmumungkahi ng mga solusyon. Ang lahat ay naglalayong itaguyod ang pagpapagaling pananagutan at muling pagsasama. Section 26. Conduct of the diversion. If during the conferencing, meditation, or consolation of the child, bilaterally administration or commission of the act, diversion program shall be developed when the appropriate and desirable as determined under Section 30, such admission shall not be used against the child in any subsequent judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative proceedings. The diversion program shall be effective and binding if accepted by the parties concerned. The acceptance shall be in writing and signed by the parties concerned and appropriate authorities. The local social welfare and development officer shall supervise the implementation of the diversion program. Diversion proceedings shall be completed within 45 days. The prescription of the offense shall be suspended until the completion of diversion proceedings but not exceed 45 days. Ang isang kontrata ay dibisyon ng isang legal na kasunduan kung saan ang co-owner or tagapagmana sumasang-ayon na hatiin ang ibang pag-aari na nagtatapos sa pagmamay-ari. Karaniwan ito sumusunod sa mano o magkasanib na pagmamay-ari sa bawat partido na nagtatanggap ng isang tiyak na bahagi kapag natapos na ang bawat isa ay nag-iisang may-ari ng kanilang bahagi. Ang kasunduan ay dapat na kusang loob na may-aring mangangailangan ng kasulatan o notarized from na maging wasto. Section 27. Duty of punong barangay when there is no diversion, if the offense does not fall under the Section 23 A and B, or if the child, his parents, or guardians does not consist the diversion, the punong barangay handling the case shall within 3 days from determination of the absence of jurisdiction over the case or termination of the administration proceedings as the case may be forward the records of the case of the child to the law enforcement officer, prosecutor, or the appropriate court as the case may be upon the issuance of the corresponding documents certifying to the fact that no agreement has been reached by the parties. The case shall be filed according to the regular process. Kung hindi possible ang pag-iba-iba ng isang kaso ng isang kinasangkutan ng isang bata na salungat sa batas, ang punong barangay ay dapat sumangguni sa kaso ng wastong otoridad sa SWDO or PNP. Tiyakin na ang mga karapatan at kaligtasan ng bata ay protektado. Idokumento ang referral at dahilan para sa hindi pagdibahagi at makipag-ugnayan sa mga nababahala na ahensya para sa karagdagang legal na pagkilos o intervention alinsunod sa Republic Act 9344 bilang na binagaan ng Republic Act 10630.
Dito tayo sa section number 28, duty of the law enforcement officer when there is no diversion. So ano ba ang section number 28? Ang section number 28 ay bahagi ng Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006 and also known as Republic Act number 9344 ng Pilipinas. Ito ay tumutukoy sa tungkulin ng isang law enforcement officer, halimbawa pulis. Kapag ang kaso ng isang batang nahuli ay hindi maaaring i-divert, ibig sabihin hindi pwedeng hindi ituloy sa korte at lutasin na lang sa ibang paraan gaya ng mediation or counseling. Kapag hindi maaaring i-divert ang kaso, for example dahil sa bigat ng kasalanan o may ibang dahilan, ang law enforcement officer ay may tungkulin na i-forward agad ang kaso sa piskal or prosecutor para ito ay ma-review at kung kinakailangan magsampa ng kaso sa korte. Sisiguraduhin din niya ang karapatan ng bata tulad ng pagkakaroon ng abogado, maayos na pagtrato at hindi pagmamalupit. So ano nga ba ang layunin ng section number 28? Layunin ng probisyong ito na tiyakin ng mga bata ay protektado pa rin kahit ang kanilang kaso ay kailangang daan sa formal na proseso ng hustisya. So let's proceed naman dito sa section number 29, factors in determining the diversion program. In determining whether diversion is appropriate and desirable, the following factors shall be taken into consideration. So ito yung letter A, the nature and the circumstances of the offense charge. Or tinitignan kung ano ang uri ng krimen na ginawa ng bata, pati na rin ang mga detalye ng incident. Kung ang krimen ay mabigat o hindi maaaring makapekto ito sa desisyon kung nararapat ang diversion para sa kanya. Letter B, the frequency and the severity of the act. Or kung ibig sabihin nito, kung paulit-ulit ang ginawang pagkakamali ng bata o kung ito ay may matinding epekto sa iba, mas malamang na hindi maging angkop ang diversion para sa kanya. Letter C, the circumstances of the child, age, maturity, intelligence. Dito naman is, kabilang dito yung edad, kalusugan, pag-iisip, at iba pang personal na katangian ng bata. Letter D, the influence of the family and environment on the growth of the child. Ibig sabihin noon nito, ito is ang epekto ng pamilya at community sa pagpapalaki ng bata ay isa ring mahalagang consideration. For example, kung ang bata ay lumaki sa isang kapaligirang may negatibong impluwensya tulad ng pang-aabuso o kahirapan, maaaring ito ang dahilan ng kanyang mga maling gawain. Next naman is letter E, the reparation of injury to the victim. Ibig sabihin naman nito, so ano nga bang reparation of injury to the victim? Ang reparation of injury to the victim is, ito yung pag-ayos sa pinsala na dulot ng krimen o ginawa ng bata. Letter F, the weight of the evidence against the child. Dito naman is tinitingnan kung gaano kalakas yung ebidensya na magpapatibay sa pagkakasala ng bata. Kung malakas ang ebidensya, maaaring hindi ito ang tamang pagkakataon para sa diversion. Letter G, the safety of the community. Ibig sabihin nito, mahalaga ring suriin kung ang diversion ay makikinabang sa community at hindi magdudulot ng panganib. Kung ang bata ay may possibility na magpatuloy sa paggawa ng crime, maaaring hindi ito angkop. Letter H, the best interest of the child. It means, ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat ay ang kapakanan ng bata. Lahat ng hakbang ay dapat magbigay diin sa pagbibigay ng rehabilitation, education at support upang hindi na ulitin ng bata ang mga maling gawain. Let's proceed naman dito sa section 30, formulation of the diversion program. So ano nga ba ang section 30, formulation of the diversion program? Ito ay bahagi ng batas na tumatalakay sa mga child in conflict with the law or CICL o mga batang lumalabag sa mga batas. Layunin ng seksyong ito na masigurong ang mga hakbang para sa diversion o o pag-iwas sa formal na proseso ng korte ay angkop sa sitwasyon ng bata. Next is the following factors shall be considered in formulating a diversion program for the child. Letter A. The child's feelings of remorse for the offense he or she committed. It means tinitignan kung taos-puso yung bata sa kanyang pagsisisi sa kanyang mga ginawa. Next naman is the parents or legal guardian's ability to guide and supervise the child. Dito naman is kung kaya ng magulang nagabayan at bantayan ang bata sa kanyang pagbabago. Letter C. The victim's view about the propriety of the measures to be imposed. Dito naman is kung sang-ayon ang biktima sa mga mungkahing hakbang para sa bata. Letter D. The availability of community-based programs for rehabilitation and reintegration of the child. Dito naman is kung may mga rehabilitation o reintegration na program sa lugar na maaring tumulong sa pagbabagong buhay ng bata. So next is section number 31, kinds of diversion programs. So ano nga ba ang section number 31? Ang section number 31 ay tumutukoy sa iba't ibang uri ng diversion programs or alternatibong hakbang sa halip na dumaan ang isang child in conflict with the law or CICL sa formal na proseso ng korte. Layunin nito ang rehabilitation ng bata sa pamamagitan ng socio-cultural at physiological interventions. So involved nga dito yung level of the punong barangay, level of the law enforcement officer, and the prosecution. And the last is level of the appropriate court. So dito tayo sa next, letter A, at the level of the punong barangay. Restitution of property. So ano nga ba ang restitution of property? Ito yung pagbalik o papalitan ng bata ang ari-ariang ninakaw niya or nasira niya. Number 2, reparation of the damage caused. O pag-ayos o pagbabayad sa nasirang bagay o pinsala na ginawa ng bata. Number 3, indemnification for the consequential damage. Dito naman is yung pagbabayad sa mga iba pang pinsalang resulta ng nagawa niyang crime. So 4, written or oral apology. Dito naman is pagsusulat o pagsasabi ng bata sa taos-puso na paghingi niya ng tawad sa biktima. 5, care guidance and supervisions orders. Dito naman is paglalagay ng bata sa ilalim ng paggabay ng isang responsible ay paggabay ng isang responsable or kinatawan. 6, counseling for the child in conflict with the law and the child's family. Dito naman is para sa bata at sa pamilya nito upang matulungan silang harapin ang issue at maiwasan ang pag-uulit ng pagkakamali ng bata. Number 7, attendance and training seminars and lectures on anger management skills, problem solving or conflict resolution skills, values formation, and other skills which will aid the child in dealing with situations which can lead to repetition of the offense. Ang programang ito ay nakatuon sa pagbabago ng ugali ng bata at pagtuturo ng responsibilidad sa halip na parusahan agad siya. Ito ay bahagi ng restorative justice na layuning ayusin ang relasyon ng bata, ng biktima at ng community. Letter B, at the level of the law enforcement officer and the prosecutor. Number 1, diversion programs specified under paragraphs A1 to A9 here and 2, confiscation and forfeiture of the proceeds or instrument of the crime. So number 1 naman is diversion programs specified under paragraphs A1 to 9 here, and ito yung pagsusulat ng pamanig, paglilingkod sa community, pagka-counseling or therapy, at pag-restitution o pagbabayad ng pinsala, at iba pang rehabilitative programs. Sa letter C naman is at the level of the appropriate court.
Section 32. Duty of the Prosecutor's Office. There shall be a specially trained prosecutor to conduct inquest, preliminary investigation, and prosecution of cases involving a child in conflict with the law. If there is an allegation of torture or ill treatment of a child in conflict with the law during arrest or detention, it shall be the duty of the prosecutor to investigate the same. So, yung prosecutor's office ay kailangan mag-assign ng trained prosecutor para mag-handle sa mga child in conflict with the law. Additionally, kapag may mga claims na mayroong torture or mistreatment sa bata habang inaaresto, ang prosecutor ay responsable sa mga pangyayaring ito. Dahil ang layunin ng prosecutor's office ay mapanatiling ligtas at hindi nababaliwala ang karapatan ng mga bata.
Section 33. Preliminary Investigation and Filing of Information. The prosecutor shall conduct a preliminary investigation in the following instances. A. When the child in conflict with the law does not qualify for diversion. B. When the child, his, her parents, or guardian does not agree to diversion as is specified in Section 27 and 28. And C. When considering the assessment and recommendation of the social worker, the prosecutor determines that diversion is not appropriate for the child in conflict with the law. Upon serving the subpoena and the affidavit of complaint, the prosecutor shall notify the public attorney's office of such service, as well as the personal information and the place of detention of the child in conflict with the law. Upon determination of probable cause by the prosecutor, the information against the child shall be filed before the family court within 45 days from the start of the preliminary investigation. The information must allege that the child acted with discernment.
Chapter 4. Court Proceedings. Section 34. Bail. For purposes of recommending the amount of bail, the privileged mitigating circumstance of monetary shall be considered. So sabi dito sa bail, the temporary release of an accused person awaiting trial, sometimes on condition that a sum of money be lodged to guarantee their appearance in court. So, siya ay nakalaya sa piyansa. Section 35. Release on recognizance. Where a child is detained, the court shall order the release of the minor on recognizance to his or her parents and other suitable person. The release of the child in conflict with the law on bail, or the transfer of the monitor to a youth detention home, youth rehabilitation center. The court shall not order the detention of a child in a jail pending trial or hearing of his/her case. So, dito sa release on recognizance, ang hukuman ay hindi dapat mag-utos ng pagkulong sa isang bata sa isang kulungan habang nakabinbin ang paglilitis o pagdinig ng kanyang kaso. Section 36. Detention of the child pending trial. Children detained pending trial may be released on bail or recognizance as provided for under Sections 34 and 35 under this Act. In all other cases and whenever possible, detention pending trial may be replaced by alternative measures such as close supervision, intensive care, or placement with a family or in educational setting or home. Institutionalization or detention of the child pending trial shall be used only as a measure of last resort and for the shortest possible period of time. Whenever detention is necessary, a child will always be detained in youth detention homes established by local governments pursuant to Section 8 of the Family Courts Act in the city of municipality where the child resides. So sabi dito, ang pagkulong sa isang bata habang nakabinbin ang paglilitis ay isang sukatan ng huling paraan. Ginagamit lamang kapag talagang kinakailangan at para sa pinakamaikling panahon. The Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act RA 9344 prioritize alternative measures like close supervisions, placement with the family or in educational setting. Section 37. Diversion measures, where the maximum penalty imposed by law for the offense with which the child in conflict with the law is charged is imprisonment of not more than 12 years, regardless of the fine or fine alone regardless of the amount, and before arraignment of the child in conflict with the law, the court shall determine whether or not diversion is appropriate. So ayon sa batas, para sa pagkakasala kung saan ang bata na sumasalungat sa batas ay kakasuhan daw siya ng hindi higit sa 12 taon. Anuman ang multa o multa lamang anuman ang halaga at bago ang arraignment ng batang sumasalungat sa batas, ang hukuman ay dapat magpasya kung ang diversion ay nararapat o hindi.
Section 38. Automatic suspension of sentence. Sabi dito, kapag ang isang bata na wala pang 18 years old ay napatunayang nagkasala, otomatikong ihinto ng korte ang pagpapataw ng parusa. Kahit umabot na siya sa 18 bago sabihin ang hatol, manatiling suspendido ang parusa. Titignan din ng korte kung may kailang bayaran at kung ano ang kalagayan ng bata bago madesisyonan kung anong tamang paraan ng paggabay at pag-aayos ang ibigay. Ayon sa patakaran ng Supreme Court Rules for Juvenile Offenders. Sabi dito sa Section 39, pwedeng itigil ang kaso at tuluyang palayain ang batang sangkot sa kaso kung irerekomenda ito ng social worker at sang-ayon ng korte na natapos na ng bata ang kailangang rehabilitasyon. Pero kahit palayain siya, kailangan pa rin niyang bayaran ng anumang danyos o pananagutan ayon sa batas. Dito naman sa Section 40, kung ang bata daw ay hindi sumunod sa mga tuntunin ng kanyang pag-aayos o kung sinadya niyang hindi sundin ang utos ng korte, pwede siyang ibalik sa korte para tuluyang patawan ng parusa. Kung ang bata ay naging 18 na habang nakasuspende ang parusa, ang korte ang magpapasya kung papalayain na siya, itutuloy ang parusa o papalawigin pa ang suspension ng parusa hanggang siya ay maging 21 years old. Sabi dito sa Section 41, ang panahon na ginugol ng bata sa kulungan mula sa araw ng pagkakaaresto hanggang sa mabigay ang final na hatol ay isasama na sa bilang ng kanyang parusa. Sa ganitong paraan, nababawasan ang kabuoang panahon na kailangan niyang pagdusahan pagkatapos ng hatol. Dito naman sa Section 42, pwede daw desisyonan ng korte na wag na munang ipakulong ang batang nasangkot sa kaso kahit nahatulan na siya. Sa halip, pwede siyang ilagay sa probation. Ibig sabihin, babantayan siya at kailangan niyang sumunod sa mga patakaran habang nasa labas ng kulungan. Kung ito ang mas makakabuti para sa kanya, pwedeng humiling ng ganito kahit kailan. Binago rin ng batas na ito ang Probation Law of 1976 para sa maisama ang mga bata sa ganitong pagkakataon.
Chapter 5 Confidentiality of Records and Proceedings. Section 43 Confidentiality of Records and Proceedings or Records and Proceedings involving child in conflict with the law from initial contact until final disposition of the case shall be considered privileged and confidential. The public shall be excluded during the proceedings, and the record shall not be disclosed directly or indirectly to anyone by any of the parties or the participants in the proceedings for any purpose whatsoever, except to determine if the child in conflict with the law may have his or her sentence suspended, or if he or she may be granted probation under the probation law, or to enforce the civil liability imposed in the criminal action. So, ang pinapahayag nito na ang lahat ng mga talaan at mga paglilitis sa korte na kinasasangkutan ng mga batang may salungatan sa batas ay mahigpit na confidential. Ang pagiging confidential na ito ay umabot mula sa unang pakikipag-ugnayan sa legal na sistema hanggang sa pangwakas na resolusyon ng kaso. Ang publiko ay hindi pinapayagang makialam sa mga paglilitis na ito at walang impormasyon na maaaring ibunyag sa sinuman ng direkta o hindi direkta maliban sa dalawang ang batas ay nagbibigay ng prioridad sa proteksyon at privacy at kapakanan ng mga bata sa pamamagitan ng pagpapanatili ng pagiging confidential ng kanilang legal na kaso na may mga limitadong eksepsyon lamang na pinapayagan para sa mga tiyak na legal na layunin. Yun lang, thank you.
The component authorities shall undertake all measures to protect this confidentiality of proceedings, including non-disclosure of records to the media, maintaining a separate police blotter for case involving children in conflict with the law, and adopting a system of coding to conceal material information which will lead to the child's identity. Records of a child in conflict with the law shall not be used in subsequent proceeding for cases involving the same offender as an adult, except when beneficial for the offender and upon his/her written consent. Ibig sabihin dito na dapat ingatan ang mga otoridad ang pagiging pribado ng mga kaso ng mga batang nasangkot sa batas sa pamamagitan ng hindi pagbabahagi ng dokumento sa media, pagkakaroon ng hiwalay na record ng police or police blotter, paggamit ng mga code para itago ang pagkakilanlan ng mga bata, at karaniwang hindi paggamit ng mga dating record ng mga bata laban sa kanila kapag sila ay nasa hustong gulang na, maliban na lang kung ito ay makakatulong sa kanila at sila ay sumasang-ayon sa pamamagitan ng sulat. A person who has been in conflict with the law as a child shall not be held under any provision of law to be guilty of perjury or of concealment or misrepresentation by reason of his/her failure to acknowledge the case or recite any fact related in response to any inquiry made to him/her for any reason. Sabi dito, hindi maaari or hindi pwedeng hatulan ang isang tao na CICL or tinatawag na children in conflict with the law ay hindi considered na hatulan ng perjury or concealment or
mispresentation. Kung hindi nila kinikilala o sinisiwalat ang kanilang mga dating kaso noong bata pa sila kapag tinatanong tungkol dito sa kanilang pagtanda. Yung CICL, ito ay Children in Conflict with the Law. Ito yung tumutukoy sa mga batang nagkasala o na haharap sa mga kasong legal. Ito yung mga wala pang 18 years old sa panahong umano'y nagawa nila ang isang paglabag sa batas.